All right, welcome back to our Opus 4 rundown, best to worst. We are now on Lightning, and yeah. So your first is Lightning, and my first is Behemoth. So why did you pick Lightning first?
This card does so many things. It's just outrageous. So first off, it has haste. A lot of the cards that come with haste are really weak cards, which are easily blocked. This is not so easily blocked. It's a 7K, so it's just really good there already. Obviously, for a 7-cost haste, I think maybe 4 would have been a little better, but it's okay. There's 2 more abilities that are both fantastic. Whenever Lightning hits the field or attacks, if you have another 13 forward, then you're going to dull something. Fantastic. If you're playing a 13 deck, that's very easy to do.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much in a Lightning.
Not only that, but it's character, not even forward.
Oh, wow, yeah, not even forward. Well, then in theory, you can just run Mach 13, search this up, and have that already, which is fantastic. And then lastly, its last effect, while worded somewhat confusingly, it's pretty much just a dodge effect. Anytime you get targeted, you discard a Lightning, so it's a special that's not really a special, so it can't be stopped by things that stop specials. You just discard a Lightning, bring her out of the field, and then put her back in, and you are saved. It's a wonderful card, just full of effects. It's just a solid card.
So, interestingly, I think our Lightning ones are going to differ quite a bit. For me, it was kind of hard to pick which ones to put up. I thought there were quite a few good ones.
Absolutely, same.
I did not actually even put Lightning in my top 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's a really good card. I think the 5 cost for 7K is a bit steep, obviously.
But it's
it does a lot of things.
So many things.
It's definitely a really good card. But let's see, a haste 7K for 5 cost. Looking at that alone, it's kind of expensive. And then it kind of fits your stereotype of kind of a weak haste for the cost. But the fact that you get basically a free dull off of it too, so it's let's say they have one card.
2 in theory,
yeah.
Because if you have a 13 character, you hit the field and attack, that's 2 dulls.
That's right, yeah. So the fact that basically this is a guaranteed damage is really powerful.
Really strong.
And then the fact that it has a dodge as well.
That's just so useful. I don't think anything else does that, actually.
I don't think,
Well, inherently, some cards can't be targeted, but this is sort of kind of the same thing for a special.
Yeah.
But it's just a really, really good effect.
Definitely a very good card. Yeah. Like I said, it was kind of difficult for me to pick these ones. Was it for you?
Oh, yeah, there was a ton of really good Lightning cards this Opus. There's so many Lightning cards.
So I picked Behemoth. I put it at first. I'm not sure if it really deserves the first spot, but to me, this just seems like a really good card because it's essentially a 4 cost that can destroy their strongest card on the field. If not their strongest card, a very strong card.
Yeah, 12k damage is nothing to joke about. Yeah.
So it is, it's a 4 cost to bring it out. So it's a 4 cost 8k, which is pretty to power curve.
It's doing better on curve than Lightning.
Yeah, it's pretty good for power curve. Obviously, the longer you use it, the less efficient it gets. But that's just monsters in general as forwards.
I don't even think that's necessarily the case because getting multiple uses out of its effect is just really strong. So
it's true. And the fact, like I said earlier, the fact that you can essentially destroy any one monster on their field, because any one forward on their field by trading, is just an incredibly powerful effect. And the fact that, it's just an 8K forward by itself is very strong. So, to me, I mean, this is just a phenomenal monster to add to a Lightning deck. And
yeah, absolutely.
Just gets rid of anything you want, pretty much.
So there's a strange not downside, but a question I have about. So I feel like this probably won't be run in mono Lightning, or maybe it will. I'm not sure. I feel like mono Lightning doesn't necessarily worry too much about huge units, but just about that combo damage, that Alcid combo, and then just any other little things that they want to do. But I think this might be welcome in Mono Lightning, but I'm just not really sure if that's necessarily what they're looking for, and if so, what do you lose for it?
It's true.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a very, very, very good card.
All right. So in second place, I have Rama.
Interesting. I have
And
Behemoth.
second, you have Behemoth.
Yeah.
So obviously,
It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a really strong card. Really, it does pretty much what Lightning wants, which is breaking something because you want to break it.
yeah. So I picked Rama, which it's kind of, to me, it's a very strong card because it's a 1 cost and it's an EX burst. Granted, it's very specific what it does. Destroy a 2 cost or less forward or monster, which is very specific. But a lot of the powerful monsters right now are 1 cost, 1 or 2 costs.
2 costs, yeah.
And then just destroying a 2 cost forward for a 1 drop or an EX burst is just strong by itself. So to me, it's just a really good summon for its cost. I think it's a step down. There's Odin 7, Odin 4, and then now there's Rama 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if with all 3 of these, you have very good options for destroying different
Coverage,
different forwards of various costs, and the fact that this also gives you utility with destroying monsters, I think to me this is a pretty given summon to put in a deck. I can see why you might not, just because there's already some really good summons in Lightning.
There's a couple.
Odin 4, Cyclops.
I mean, Odin's
7.
pretty much all that's run. I don't think Cyclops is run super often. I definitely don't think it's a bad card, but I feel like Odin's are probably all that you put in a Mono Lightning because they have such good forwards and backups. But yeah, I can definitely see running this. I think 90% of the time you're just going to get usage out of the monster effect. Even so, it's really good because, like you said, 1 drop EX, just break something. That's very, very helpful, yeah.
Yeah, maybe second spot is high for it, but I think it's just so useful that I think it warrants the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with new meta, with I'm assuming everyone's gonna run a lot of monsters. Yeah, this will just kill whatever.
All right, my third is Ramza.
I definitely just thought of another reason that Rama could be really good. So there is a water monster. It is called Cleone, and this is just fodder for that. It's pretty much it's a monster that sits on the field, and then when a summon is cast, it cancels it and breaks itself. If you want the maximum value out of not being able to play a summon, you can just drop a Rama. That's a 1 drop summon.
Not only that, but if you get this as an EX burst and you can just destroy.
I wonder if you can cancel. Yeah, it probably does cancel EX bursts. So yeah,
I don't know because it's an auto ability.
I
Do
think-
auto abilities go off with the EX burst? Because you
I think
can't
if it targets
react
the fact
to
that
an
it's a
EX.
summon. I think it activates, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just nice fodder for that card.
All right. So for third, I put Ramza, and you put Orlando.
Boy, Orlando, dude.
Yeah.
Mr. Bloom.
So I did not put Orlando in mine, although
Nice.
I was tempted to put. He's obviously a very good card. Why did you put him at third?
Well, so it's just obviously it's a pretty fairly priced unit. It's 5 for 9, which is pretty good if you're gonna play that big of a card. Its first ability just really shined to me because Mono Lightning, you're gonna do some damage. So you can just do a small amount of damage and then play him and just destroy a card. There's a couple backups in Mono Lightning that do a small amount of damage in order to boost the Alcid combo or like Onion Knight. I think just doing that and then playing him, it's another core Lightning combo that people might start to run.
Hell, in theory, you could even just do this in your main phase 2 after you trade a little dinky monster to hit their strong monster.
Absolutely.
And you can just destroy it in your main phase 2.
Its special is also really good. It stops a lot of cards that can't be damaged because it's a reduction, but I don't think we've ever seen a reduction more than 4K. So a 7K power reduction is huge. But not only that, you reactivate Orlando, so you can use this big body to defend an opposing attack.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a very, very strong card. And it's special. Honestly, it does not cost that much. You're looking at, I believe, it's how much, what's Saz's summon?
Brynhildr?
Yeah, Brynhildr. I'm pretty sure is a 4-drop summon that deals 7k damage. So that's even, and you activate Orlando. So I think it's a really good ability, or really good card in general, yeah.
I agree, and the fact that it gives you an answer to like a Larsa or a Minwu with its special
Reduction, yeah.
because it's a power reduction, not damage dealt.
Absolutely.
Very powerful card in that regard. Just allows you to circumnavigate that weakness to Lightning's damage archetype against water.
Right, yeah.
So I think definitely a really, really good card.
Absolutely.
I put Ramza. To me, this card is just so much utility in a card. It's just crazy. It's not necessarily FF Tactics. Like you don't have to be running an FF Tactics deck to use it like the other Ramza.
The other Ramza, yeah.
So the fact that whenever a card, whenever Ford is broken, you activate him. Really strong.
You can reuse the ability, yeah.
Yeah, so you can reuse any of his abilities over and over if you just keep trading your monsters.
Oh yeah,
out.
I see really, really like big potential for combos that could possibly win you the game here.
Yeah.
You can use it in theory if you want like to get rid of a lot of little units. You can use it to constantly power up one unit into just a monster that you can attack.
Chip with the small ones and then buff one up over and over again. Yeah, and then the fact that you can just give a card a haste at a 2-drop cost
really
is
good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, what is...
Red Mage is pretty sure it's...
1 cost tap?
It's a 2 cost and then 1 in tap.
Yeah, so this is a 2 cost and then tap. So, really good. I mean, obviously it's a forward, so it's easier to get rid of, but to me it's just a really, really good card.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could easily find its way into just about any... Lightning deck.
I definitely agree with you. Like you said earlier, there's a ton of really good Lightning cards, and this was one of those again where I like. There's just so many to choose from, and I kind of had to just stick with a couple. So this one unfortunately was cut, but I definitely agree that it is a very strong card and can fit into many decks.
All right, our honorable mentions are the same actually.
The Dragon, dude.
So to me, I put Dragon in 4th because, or honorable mention rather, because it is not like the most busted card ever, but if you're not, it's definitely like the monster card for Lightning. Obviously, Behemoth is maybe a little bit more specific if you're running it, but Dragon to me is an easy go. It's 2 cost to play it, and then you can play an additional cost to break a monster of 4 or less, which is right now all monsters, or 2 cost to break 4 to 4 or less, which is just
an
Odin.
Even. That's a really even trade, yeah.
I mean, it's basically Odin.
Oh yeah, actually.
So to me, it's an easy put in. It's Odin, but with slightly more utility. Obviously, it's not a summon; it's a monster, so you have to put it out ahead of time. But to me, just very good card, very good utility, and the fact that it is monster and forwards. It seems like Lightning specifically has a lot of really good ways
to break stuff,
to break things, and not only that, but break monsters more than any of the other.
I think when they made the cards for Opus 4 and they made Lightning cards, they're like, okay, what does Lightning do? It just breaks stuff. So let's make it break monsters now that they're in the game.
So it seems like, in particular, Lightning will have very good ways to deal with monster-heavy decks.
Yeah, especially the possible water, your Gao and that other girl from like Crystal Chronicles, I forget her name at the moment. But yeah, those really monster heavy decks that could plague the game here pretty soon. Yeah.
So, it's not the most complex card, but I think it's just really good at what it does.
It's a very solid card. Yeah, absolutely. Cards don't have to be super complex to be just a solid card. It's a very simple, straightforward, just break something. So yeah, absolutely useful in many situations.
All right, and so for our worst, you picked Magus, and I picked Magus. Now we picked two different Magus.
Yeah.
So he picks the 5 cost Magus, and I picked the 2 cost. So why'd you pick the 5 cost Magus?
I picked this card because 5-drop for a backup in Lightning is just unacceptable. You could be doing so much more with 5 mana. You could play 2 forwards that deal an equivalent of 7k damage anyways. That being like what is the... I just blanked all of a sudden. It's like Onion Knight and...
Alcid?
No, it's Rigdia. And Onion Knight, yeah. And then get 2, forwards out of that. Albeit this one has a slight upside if you have 5 standard units, but I don't really see myself running that in, especially in Mono Lightning.
Yeah.
Albeit it is a very strong card if you can get the better effect out, but I just don't think that's ever going to happen.
And the fact that it just sits there afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way to get rid of it. Well, not necessarily. If you run Lulu, the what's called the Hero Lulu, then maybe this card is pretty okay, but I don't think I would want to pay 10 mana to get this and Lulu out just to destroy a card when I could play any of these other cards that we've gone over and do pretty much the same thing in most cases. I just think it's a very, very hard card to be able to play consistently, and therefore I just picked it as worst. Now, your boy over here got a Hershey's chocolate bar in his hat, and I just want to know why you thought he was worse.
So to me, I picked this one. It's okay. So 2 costs for 4K isn't that great to begin with. If you look at fire cards of similar costs, they just do more. Now, granted, lightning decks typically do a little bit less damage than fire because fire is almost all about.
They also typically have secondary effects when they break stuff. Yeah, and this one does not have that.
So it
breaks itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it breaks itself. And then the fact that it's only to an active forward just seems like such a drawback. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but the fact that, if their strong forward attacked last turn and you need to combo it this turn, you can't do that.
Well, I mean, it's just a tap ability. You can do it whenever.
Yeah, but you can't. Let's say you do an Alcid damage combo, but you need this damage also to
Alcid
kill.
is active, right?
Well, okay. Any monster playing instant effect.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know. It's just the active forward part brings it down for me, and then the fact that it's just not that much damage for the cost for it.
I think it could potentially be okay. Now the fact that you have to break it to do that kind of sucks. I would have much rather had just tap deal 3k or maybe 1 mana tap deal 4k. Not necessarily that I would have absolutely ran it in every deck if that were the case, but I do agree that breaking it to do such little damage is probably not the best usage of your mana in a game that's so, or not mana, crystal points, so heavily about resource consumption. I feel like there's probably just better options. I definitely see why you would put it in your worst slot, though.
Yeah. I can't see anyone ever running this particular card.
Chocolate's just gonna melt the sun, dude. It's just it's ridiculous, dude.
All right. Well, that was our lightning rundown.